Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land within the Shire of Chittering, the Ewart and the Woodjuk peoples. We would like to pay respect to the elders of the Noongar Nation, past and present, who have walked and cared for the land. We acknowledge and respect their continuing culture and the contributions made to this region. I declare the meeting open at 7:01, and as per Council Resolution 130423, this meeting is being live streamed. Item 2, record of attendance. Apologies, approved leave of absence. We have in attendance Councillor, and Councillor Kylie Hughes is a approved leave of absence, so she's not here with us today. Staff is all present. We welcome back the Chief Executive Officer, Melinda Prinsloo, after a number of weeks leave, and she should be fresh to keep us on our toes for today. And members of the general public, there are 0. Media, there are 0. And again, the approved leave of absence is Councillor Kylie Hughes, and there are no apologies at this point. Attendances, councillors, you see on the screen, attendances in your role as elected members. Are there any amendments to your attendances? If there are no amendments, I'll move on to item 3, disclosures of interest. Councillors, are there any disclosures or any potential conflicts of interest, any matter before council this evening? No conflict, no disclosures of interest. I'll move on to item 4, public question time. Public question time is limited to 15 minutes. Each member of the public is limited to 2 minutes to ask the questions, and questions will be limited to 2 per person, and we request that you state your name and address and then ask your question. Okay, responses to previous public questions taken on notice. The following questions were taken on notice at the April Ordinary Council meeting held on Wednesday the 16th of April 2025, and an answer was provided via email on Wednesday 23 April 2025. I'll read these out. The first question was PQT010425 from Jenny Hall Mouchet. Question 1. How many cases on a similar scale to 99 Polanini Road, Lower Chittering, relating to clearing prior to approval have been followed up or referred to DWER in the past 5 years, where any action was taken by DWER or Shire of Chittering? The response: the number of cases similar to the scale of the 99 Polanini Road clearing that resulted in action taken by DWER or the Shire is nil. The only instance of clearing of a large scale was the clearing that occurred on lot 101 Tea Tree Road, which was reported to DWER, but was retrospectively approved through Council's approval of the development application. Question 2. I refer back to Council meeting of February 2024, agenda item 101, Tea Tree Road, Bindoon, in regards to the clearing of 12-metre wide fire breaks without approval of pristine bush zone as conservation. What action was taken by DWER and the Shire of Chittering, if any, and were they required to rehabilitate or preserve another area of the property to offset what was cleared with no approval? The responses as follow. The lot 101 Tea Tree Road clearing was retrospectively approved through Council's decision to approve the development application. The development application included a sealed access track around the periphery of the lot where the clearing took place, and therefore the approval of the development application effectively approves the clearing of the vegetation. It is understood that DWER did not take any further action as a result of the development application process. As a matter of process, when the Shire is made aware of significant clearing of native vegetation on private property in the Shire, the matter is reported to DWER to investigate. That is the questions and answers to Jenny Hall. Public question time. There is no public, so there is no public questions. Item 5, petitions and deputations. There are nil. Item 6, application for leave of absence. I've got to ask first. Councillors, are there any requests for leave?
Yes, please.
Councillor Angus.
I would like to apply for leave of absence from Monday the 9th of June to Friday the 13th of June, please.
So that covers the agenda forum?
Agenda forum,
But
yes.
not the OCM?
Not the OCM.
Okay.
13th. Unlucky for some.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
You're the mover for...
Yep.
Thank you. Councillor Angus is the mover. Councillor Ross is the seconder. Councillor, is anyone speaking against the motion for leave of absence? Councillors, there's no one speaking against the councillor's motion. I'll declare carried without debate 7-0. 6. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what got me? Because Anna wrote 7-0. All right, thank you. I'll move on. Item 7, confirmation of minutes. Confirmation of minutes of ordinary council meeting held on Wednesday the 16th of April 2025. That is the officer's recommendation. Can I have a mover for that, please? Councillor Campbell, I think.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
Too slow.
Councillor Campbell. And Councillor Angus was the seconder. Thank you. Councillor Campbell.
To add, thank you.
Nothing, thank you.
Okay. Anyone speaking against the officer's recommendation? Right of reply not required. Yep. Councillors, if no one's speaking against the officer's recommendation, I'll declare carried 6-0 without dissent. Thank you. Item 8, announcements from the presiding member. There are 4. Just the first announcement is that we have a few events happening in the Shire in the coming months. Firstly, a community consultation for the Lower Chittering Youth and Community Hub will be held on Wednesday the 28th of May at 3 p.m, just behind the Lower Chittering Fire Station. We encourage everyone to come along and share your thoughts and to find out more about this exciting new project while enjoying a free sausage sizzle. Next one is on Sunday the 7th of June. The Plants for Rural Properties event will take place from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Lower Chittering Fire Station. Please come and collect your 5 free native choose stock plants per property, but just remember to bring your asset number from your most recent rates notice. We all know where our asset number is on our rates notice, I hope. That's a new one. Next one is we would also pleased to announce the return of Wear Your Wellies in 2025. Chittering's much loved Outdoor Adventure Day is back. This event celebrates unstructured, muddy and memorable play for families and will be held on Sunday the 22nd of June from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. On Saturday, the 22nd of June from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It promises a fun-filled day of laughter and connection with nature. And if you're a dad like me, bring lots of plastic sheets to stick in your car so your kids don't destroy it. Right, lastly, I'd like to acknowledge the increased presence of food trucks in the Bindoon recently. It's great to see more dining options available to our residents, and I'm sure many are enjoying the chance to grab a convenient meal and support visiting vendors. Councillors, Councillors, is there anything else anyone would like to add? I thought I might just throw that out. Any particular announcements? Okay. Item 9, reports. Development Services, DS01-0525, remediation and development potential of 131 Mouchet East Road, Mouchet. Councillors, you have an officer's recommendation to receive the information and to instruct the Chief Executive Officer to conduct further investigations on the development and options for that site. Can I have a mover for the officer recommendation? Someone's got to get me. Councillor Ross is the mover. Seconder, Councillor Campbell, thank you. Councillor Ross.
Thanks, Mr. President. This parcel of land is a particularly challenging piece of the earth that has all sorts of contamination issues attached to it, and which we have unsuccessfully endeavoured to dispose of a couple of years back now. So the work we're being asked to receive tonight is to get a decent description of what the scenario is, what's the extent of the contamination and other problems that the site has, but pointing out to us that there is no, other than fencing off the block, there's no statutory requirement to do anything. So it's good for us as council to have that information available to us, because it allows us to think forward about now what with that land. And so the second part of that officer recommendation is quite important, because the now what is unfortunately always going to have a cost factor to it, because remediating contaminated sites is not an inexpensive exercise by any means. So to get some cost analyses done about what needs doing and what are the prospects of sale or other use of the land in the future is very important. So I'm pleased this is being done and happy to support it.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Councillor Campbell.
Yeah, thanks. Further to Councillor Ross's comments, it's worthwhile getting some figures and numbers in place so we can plan for the future. So it's an unactivated piece of land that carries risks, and there might be some benefit once we get all those details back to Council. So support the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Campbell. Anyone speaking against the officer's recommendation? Anyone want to speak for? Okay, thank you. The only thing I'll add is obviously I support the officer's recommendation. I think it would be good to activate that space in the future, but this work serves to provide council the information necessary to make the decision as to what to do with that land. So we welcome the work that will be undertaken and look forward to workshopping the outcomes with the administration when they're ready to be tabled. Councillor Ross. No right of reply. Councillors, I'll put the officer's recommendation to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 6-0 without dissent. Next item of business is DS020525, Lower Chittering Bridle Trail Network Reference Group Minutes. Councillors, you have an officer's recommendation to note the minutes of the 3 Lower Chittering Bridle Trail Network Reference Group minutes held on the 17th September 2024, 26th of November 2024 and 19th of April 2025. Great. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation? Councillor Campbell. Seconder, Councillor Angus. Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, President King. So we've had 3 meetings so far held to date with the committee members, with plenty of feedback and ideas around the success of the trail. The intention of the committee was to deal with any issues that may or may not arise. So initially there were a few objections or complaints around the loss of privacy and lack of consultation. Those have died down. However, there have been some more significant positive feedback from users from all over the Shire, including Bundoon, as well as riders from outside the Shire. So additionally worth noting that the space is also being used by walkers. So unfortunately, there have been some motor vehicles and cars accessing the bridle trail illegally. There were some cameras put up to capture some of the details of the number plates if they were accessible, and I think they were dealt with in an appropriate manner. I suppose it's whilst it was sporadic and occasional, not very often, there is a risk of ever increasing antisocial behaviour without the relevant infrastructure to stop vehicles and motorbikes accessing the trail. So I just take the opportunity, whilst it's budget season, just to highlight the future success and continuation of the bridle trail after public consultation hinges off the relevant infrastructure and gates to be installed or erected. So the activation of the fire breaks hinges off on these assets being installed, so for all community members to use. So we receive the office, the reports, and support the officer's recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Campbell. Councillor Angus.
Thank you. I'm happy to receive the minutes from these meetings. I think it's important that we got some feedback. Although the 12-month trial hasn't finished yet, there are significant budget implications if we're going to continue with the bridle trail in regards to signage, fencing, gates, etc. So, yep, happy to receive the feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Angus. Councillors, anyone speaking against the officer's recommendation? Anyone still wish to speak for? Councillor Ross?
Thanks, Mr. President. Just a minor point. Much as Councillor Angus is correct in saying this group still has probably one more meeting to go, I think it would be appropriate to just commend them for what they're doing, because they're volunteers on this group. They're keen to see this project work, and it's very good of them, community-minded of them, to put themselves forward to deal with the challenges. So I'm certainly grateful for what they're contributing.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Councillors, anything else? Councillor Curtis?
Yes, Mr. President, I support the reference group notes. I'd just like to ask Councillor Angus how many horses would be involved in this
Maybe Councillor
situation.
Campbell might have
Perhaps
more.
Councillor Campbell, because he was at the meetings.
Yeah, I suppose there's no formal numbers, but I mean, at times there's groups of up to 10 people going, 10 horse riders going down the trail. So I don't know if Jake,
About
if you
10.
would know. No, not 10 at a time. So there could be 100 people over a specific period. So do we have councils?
They don't know, the reference group doesn't know how many horses would use the, or is this just the local, isn't it? Or not?
No, so it's from Bundoon, from Mackay, Tujay, Northern. People have coming from all over the state. But no one sits at the gate counting all the horses going in.
Councillor Curtis? Councillors, anything else? The only thing I would like to add, it's good to see that some of the fears that were tabled at the outset of having this trial didn't materially realise, which was very positive, I think. And it appears to be well attended. I think parking is probably something we're going to have to give some serious consideration to how that works in these bridle trails. I think that still is potentially a weak point in the thought process that we will need to consider as part of budget time. Not only putting up the gates and the other requirements to formalise it, but also the implications to parking, I think, is probably the big thing other than that. So, but I support, I appreciate the efforts gone into producing the minutes, and also thank the attendees to the reference group meetings, and thank Councillor Campbell for attending. So, positive outcomes. Okay, Councillor Campbell, you have right reply?
Yeah, further to add, there was good comments there, Councillor King. The group has provided recommendations on parking, how to manage horses, troughs, water, that kind of thing. So whilst it is evolving, the feedback and advice given by the group has been pretty, I think, is good information for the officers. So
Great.
Good points there, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Campbell. Councillors, I'll put this one to the vote. All those in favour? Carried without dissent, 6-0, thank you. Technical services, there are nil. Corporate services, CS010525, list of accounts paid for the period ending 30th of April 2025. Councillors, you have an officer's recommendation to receive the list of accounts. Can I have a mover, please? I'm seeing triplicate, there's 3 arms at once. Councillor Curtis, I think, just got in there. Councillor Angus, I think, seconded. Councillor Curtis.
Yeah, I accept the list of accounts. I couldn't find anything out of the ordinary, apart from a few items, but they've been explained to me, so got nothing more to add.
Thank you, Councillor Curtis. Councillor Angus.
I also didn't see anything that I felt was out of order.
Great, thank you. Councillors, anyone speaking against the officer's recommendation? No one speaking against? Councillor Curtis, you have a right to reply if you need.
Nothing more to add,
Okay.
Mr President.
Thank you, Councillor Curtis. Councillors, if no one's speaking against the officer's recommendation, I'll declare carried without dissent 6-0. Next item of business, CS 020525, monthly financial report for the period ending 30th of April 2025. Councillors, you have an officer recommendation to receive the monthly financial report. That was attached. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation, please? Councillor Ross. I'm happy to second it. Councillor King. Councillor Ross.
Thanks, Mr President. Just always pleased to get the update each month and be able to track how we're travelling for the year. Budgets in small shires are always fairly demanding to meet the needs that we want to meet, so good to have these.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. I can't really add much except I appreciate the effort that goes into producing the monthly financial report, so thank you to everyone involved. It doesn't often get said a lot, but we do appreciate the effort that goes into it. Okay, anyone speaking against the officer's recommendation? Anyone wish to speak for the officer's recommendation? Councillor Ross, you have right of reply if required. Councillors, right of reply is not required. Councillors, if no one speaking against the officer's recommendation, I'll declare carried without dissent 6-0. Next section is Chief Executive Officer. First item of business, CEO 010525, Work Health and Safety Statistic Report for April 2025. Councillors, you have an officer's recommendation to receive the Work Health and Safety Statistic Report. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation, please? Councillor Angus and the mover, and Councillor Ross, the seconder. Councillor Angus.
Thank you. Happy to receive the report. Also happy to see lots of zeros on it, as usual, when it comes to incidents and damage and positive drug tests. So, yep, happy to receive that. Thank you.
Positive drug tests.
Zero
zeros.
positive drug tests.
Need some clarity on that one, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Angus.
I
Councillor
think
Ross.
the same. Good to see alcohol testing done, and good to see that there's no instance, just one near miss, which in a staff our size is likely to happen, and it wasn't anything alarming.
Great. Councillors, anyone speaking against the officer's recommendation? Anyone wish to speak for the officer's recommendation? Councillor Angus, you have the right to reply.
Nothing more to add. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. If no one's speaking against the officer's recommendation, I'll declare carried without dissent 6-0. Next item is CEO 020525, Strategic Community Plan Major Review of 25-26. Councillors, you have an officer's recommendation. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation, please?
Must be your turn, Dave.
Dave, you want? No? No?
No, I'm
Councillor
still-
Ross, move.
I'm still warming up. I missed
Okay.
that earlier meeting.
Thanks, Councillor Ross. The mover. Seconder, Councillor Angus. That would be brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Ross.
Thanks, Mr President. This is one of the statutory plans we're required to have under the integrated planning process. And from time to time, you almost need to start with a blank page, which is kind of what this level of review is about. You just look at everything again. And this one is a core document in that planning framework. So it is good to get it underway. It's good that we've got a detailed process in front of us so that we're clear on what our personnel will be doing. It's pleasing that there's a lot of scope in it for community input, which is critical for this particular plan. And I certainly appreciate that there is going to be cost involved, because in order for it to be an effective plan that takes us forward, we actually need to invest in doing it properly. So I'm happy to support this.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Councillor Angus.
I agree with everything that Councillor Ross had said, and yeah, the timeline as you can see, goes over quite a long period of time, and hopefully we will manage to get significant community engagement within that time frame, so that we know which direction they would like us to go. So community engagement is the key.
Thank you, Councillor Angus. Councillors, anyone speaking against? Anyone wish to speak for? Councillor Curtis.
Mr President, yes, can I make an amendment to this?
Okay, sure. What is your amendment?
My amendment would read, no consultants be employed in this
I don't think-
project.
Can we do that?
That is not that wouldn't be an amendment, that is
It's a new motion.
it's
It's
a
an alternative motion.
alternative motion.
You can foreshadow it.
Foreshadowed, yes.
Okay, so you're foreshadowing this officer recommendation with a second point too.
For these works, you can just add for all of these works to be conducted without the assistance of external consultants.
Yes, because the reason is...
1 minute, you can get into your reason in a minute. We've got to move it and second it first. The moving's probably not the problem. Just let it get entered first. Okay, Councillor Curtis, you're the mover of this amendment?
Yes.
Yes? Is there a...
No, this is a foreshadowed motion.
Sorry. Apologies, it's a foreshadow motion. We don't need to deal with it now. Thank you. My apologies. It's a foreshadow motion, so it sits there, and if the substantive motion or the officer's recommendation fails, we then move to the foreshadowed motion. Thank you. My apologies. All right. Anything you wish to say for the substantive motion?
I support it, but not for the used consultants, because we've run these programs before, and I'm sure we're very capable of doing it ourselves again.
Thank you, Councillor Curtis. Councillors, anyone else wish to speak? I will speak. Look, this is a very important process. You know, community, as Councillor Angus mentioned, community engagement is paramount to us having to develop a community plan. It's got to have community input. So we hope and we look forward to considerable input from the community, and as Councillor Angus I think mentioned, the proposed timeline is quite an extensive program of work over an extended period of time, and it's good to have that mapped out for us well early in the beginning of the process, so we can understand when those opportunities for community engagement and council discussions can occur. So I do appreciate the thought that's gone into the process to actually undertake the community plan review. So thanks again to the staff. I'll revert back to Councillor Ross with the mover. Is there a right of reply?
Yes, thanks, Mr President. I will. I guess to respond to the point Councillor Curtis has made about the involvement of consultants, and I mentioned this is an area of professional expertise where I've done work like this for another shire in the wheat belt some years back, but nothing current, so there's not a declaration of interest to be made. But what you find when you engage an external consultant to do work like this is that you get a level of objectivity in the research, like the gathering of the information, that is very, very difficult for internal staff to do, simply because they're so deeply embedded in the work to start with that it's very hard for them to step back and totally be objective. And that's not a criticism, it's just a reality of how people are and how engaged they become in their work. Plus, it's also a very big piece of work, and it would take people off their usual jobs, their usual responsibilities, to actually try and get this done. And something would suffer because this needs someone's undivided attention to do it well, and so presumably just the rest of the work that our people are doing at the time. So I think that what we have with the use of consultants is very much the best way to go ahead, even though we realise there's a cost to doing it. It's an investment in getting good planning documents underway. Thanks, Mr President.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Very good. All right, councillors, I'll put the officer's recommendation to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Carried 5, 4, 1. No, 5, 1. I was right the first time. All right. Item 10, motions of which previous notice has been given. There are nil. Item 11, questions from members without notice. Are there any questions from council? Councillor Dewar.
This is a bit left field. There was a huge party up Cook Road on the weekend. Did that need approval, or because there were some very irate locals that rang at 7:30 on a Sunday morning and chewed my ear out about it?
So I can confirm that there was an approved event at the Cook Road property over the weekend. We have also received several complaints about that, and we are busy investigating whether there was a breach of the conditions of the approval, and we will be taking the due compliance actions based on that. We are engaging with all of the complainants on this.
Thank you.
Any other questions, councillors? Okay, no further questions. Thank you, Councillor Dewar. Item 12, new business of an urgent nature introduced by decision of the council of the meeting. There are nil. Item 13, meeting closed to the public. There are nil matters. And item 14 is closure. I declare the meeting closed at 7:32 p.m. So thank you very much.